Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm really excited to talk you through the feature that we've just released, which is what we call the screen filter feature. Now, firstly, I'd like to thank everyone that's completed their health profiles, as without your data, we would not have been able to add this feature. And I really hope that the Biomesight users will benefit from this feature, and not just the end users, but hopefully also scientists out there. Now, let me get started. So you can access it from your own account. I'm going to illustrate this using the usual sort of demo account, which is the member@example.com. So firstly, from where can you access this feature? So you're looking at the overview, which is the screen that you get when you first log in. It's not available on here. We only have added it to screens where we are actually comparing your data to the Biomesight sample set. So the first screen where it's been added, so basically that means it's available on all of these individual screens, the diversity, probiotics, etc. You'll find it under the short chain fatty acids, the various other end products, as well as under the advanced results section. So let's get going. I'll start with the diversity. So I will admit, with the addition of this feature, it has slowed things down somewhat, because we are filtering the data set in real time with new selections. So you'll notice that now on the screen we have an extra panel here at the top, and when you first go in, you won't have any data set selected. I've logged in already, and I have previously selected the whole data set. Now, the diversity screen does work slightly differently from the other screens. Now, when we are comparing your results set here, we only compare it with labs that do a similar depth of sequencing. So basically what this means that Biomesight users are compared to other Biomesight users, uBiome users are compared to other uBiome users. So if you are coming from a lab where there's only a handful of samples, you'll only be compared against them. And the reason for that is because it otherwise isn't really relevant, because depending on the sequencing depth, the diversity will differ. So let me get going. Sorry, just to go back. So the reason the diversity feature is different from all the rest of the sections is because the diversity filters are the only section where we do additionally filter on the lab. The other filter that is always performed is the sample type. Now, obviously, within Biomesight, we only sell the gut microbiome test, but that doesn't stop users from actually using the test to, say, collect an oral sample or vaginal sample, and it is possible for them to indicate that sample type. So we do filter on the sample set. So if you're coming in here with your oral sample, you obviously be looking at a much smaller sample set. Okay, so let me start by explaining this control. So basically it's available. So I just realized that my face is actually kind of hiding what I'm trying to show you here. So let's expand the panel. And I'll start with this. So yeah, we've got the quick filters. So the first one, which is clear all, will basically clear any advanced filter that you've configured. And that is what we've got at the moment. The control set, this one won't work at the moment because we don't have any filters. You can see it says please specify filter criteria first. So the first set of fields that we've decided to start making available are these ones. So we've got conditions, which are medical conditions, symptoms, which is obviously just the symptoms themselves, any medications, prebiotics, and supplements. So you can come in here, and if we're looking at conditions, we only support equal to. We wanted to keep things more simple for the first iteration of this. So and then if you expand the condition drop down, you'll actually see the numbers of the samples in the background. Sorry, in the database available for each condition. So we can see which ones are more dominant in Biomesight. So we've got fatigue, we've got 92 people. Let's see what else. I think constipation, you can use, yeah, just press C. So you can use your keyboard to see what we've got. So we've got constipation. You see, when I selected that, it updated the selected cohort to the same number, and this is the remaining control. So what is the remaining control? So it's basically everybody else in the data set that doesn't have whatever you've selected here. So they're not included in this data set. To see overall, we've got in the region of currently just under 1,800 samples that's been analyzed and loaded into the system. And you can make this query more complicated by adding another condition. So you could say, well, I'm only interested in people that are constipated, but they should also experience, let's say, depression. Sorry, I said and, but then I didn't know. So we don't actually have anybody in the system that's got both of these conditions, but if we do a set, we can combine them. So for our autoimmune skin condition study, for example, we're looking at alopecia, and we're looking at vitiligo. We're looking at, so yeah, so this button is to add an expression. You can use this to close one. You can also mix it up. You don't have to just use conditions. You could say, yeah, so we can also mix it up, and we can add symptoms as well. So for example, symptom equal to alopecia, condition equal to, sorry, let's change this again to symptom equal to vitiligo. We have a slightly bigger cohort, and then what we can do is we can, so when we're setting on an advanced filter, it doesn't automatically update your view based on what you've selected. You have to explicitly press the update selected cohort button before that will update. Then see that the total samples have now changed to 36. And you can now view your result in relative to the selected cohort. Yeah, so what's more interesting is let me go to some of the other sections. Probiotics, for example. So let's see. So just looking at the breakdown, there's nothing within the grid itself that is relative to the data set. If you go to the distribution, you will see the distribution for the selected sample set as well. So this means for the 36 people with autoimmune skin conditions, we've got a median commensura of 0.09 and an average of 0.5. And if we were to do the inverse of our selection by changing it to the control set, so now we're looking at a much more bigger set, and these are all people without autoimmune skin conditions. And then go back and view the distribution, and you'll see that now we've got a higher average. Yeah, so the idea is basically that you can dig into the data deeper and understand which of, so if you are somebody with a certain medical condition or certain symptoms, and you're coming in here and you think, okay, my Akkermansia is very low relative to the overall Biomesight distribution. It's low compared to Horlack's optimal range. But the question really is your Akkermansia causing your issue with, let's say, obesity or a lack of adequate sleep? So then what you could do is you could actually change your cohort to match your symptoms and then see whether or not other people with those symptoms do have a problem with Akkermansia. We all know that this is not as simple as that. But what we are trying to do here is it's just really a starting point for the next feature, which is going to be the cohort analyzer, and that will actually automatically look for the commonalities and the top predictive features. And I say top predictive features as it's just a machine learning term, but basically what that means is what are the end products or bacteria or sets of end products and bacteria that are most predictive of certain conditions or symptoms. That's what we're going to be doing in the longer run. I'm hoping to have that available by the end of this year. So I'm really excited. But for now, you're welcome to come in here and inspect and see how you compare to the cohort of your choice. So yes, the distribution, yeah, will also apply. So once you've applied a filter, it will apply everywhere else. Just bear that in mind. So if you no longer want to look at your filter, just remember to turn it off. You can just simply turn your filter off there. Okay, so where else can you access it from? So recommendations, no, because that doesn't have any data relating to the sample set. Short chain fatty acids, for example. Let's go in here. I wanted to point out one interesting observation that I've had by looking at the data set. So let's look at autism. So we've got 58 people. Let me just see if we've got symptom. No, we don't have it as a symptom. Okay, never mind. That should be fine. So let's compare people with autism to the control set. So let's start off by updating the selected cohort. And what is quite interesting here is that this is actually my data from 7th of August last year. So you can see that compared to people with ASD, well, the midpoint here, this is this matches the cohort, and you can see that what stands out is that the butyrate is lower than the 40%, which is Horlack's target. Propionate is a bit lower than mine. It doesn't really mean much because I could be an outlier. But this is really interesting because I believe this is one of the things that is known or suspected about people with autism. So once again, you can come in here and you can look further at the rest of the details. So these averages that you're looking at here is for your cohort. It's no longer for everyone else. So you can see what's different. You could look at the breakdown will be the same. It's just when you go to the distribution, this will be for your cohort. You can see that the median and the average for Faecalibacterium is a bit lower, but I will do this on the genus rather because on this level, because that will compare everything. So you can see that the average for Faecalibacterium is 8.5%. It's probably on the lower side, but maybe about average for Biomesight. But yeah, this is definitely below average. So let me just, to prove my point, I will switch over to the control set. Let me just wait for this to update. And you can see the average, sorry, the midpoint for the control set is actually 41.8, which is pretty in line with what Warlock would like to see. So yeah, I think the only other area I'd probably like to show you are the advanced results, because this doesn't make it easier to see everything, like to see every last thing. So again, yeah, you're looking at the average of what you've selected, and you're looking at where do you fit in this selected cohort. So that number, this percentile rank, will also change. The distribution year will change. Don't forget that you can come in here and change this taxonomy level. The full taxonomy doesn't show anything within the grid itself. It's just too many columns, but you can look at the, say, species level and see more information. And I do need to speed this up now that I've added the filters. A lot of the caching that we're using on WIM's website no longer applies because we have to surpass in the filter set. Anyway, so yeah, I mean, you can see I've got some bacteria that's completely out of completely too high, and that this is, as you can tell from the percentile rank. Anyway, getting back to the point, yeah, if you want to, I think I've explained this, probably all of this, so you could clear all. Then we should see this average change. Yeah, see that's changed. My percentile rank, I will still be the person with the highest Bacteroides miscellaneous. So I'm really excited to hear what everyone thinks of this feature. If you've got any comments that you'd like to share, you're welcome to add it to this video. Please like this video and follow us on YouTube, follow our channel. Yeah, so many more people can join. Great, thank you so much for your support. Bye-bye.